Here we go, here we go. What up, party people? What up, party people? We in Costa Mesa right now at the Metro Point, Edwards Regal Stadium 12. And Wonder No More. We're about to catch us a flick. Oh yeah, about to check out Wonder Woman. It's finally out. Wonder No More. It's finally out. We got to see it. The third of the triumvirate of the big three: Batman, Superman, and now Wonder Woman. Diana Prince about to do it. Let's get in there, y'all. Let's get in there. Wonder Woman. All right, here we go, y'all. About to go check out Wonder Woman 3D. I'm sneaking it in there. I'm kind of working at the same time, doing a little audit. So let's get in there. They don't got the marquee thing, but let's get in there and check it out. Starting.
He's going to get me killed.
There you go.
But not today.
Yeah, let's make this brief. Wonder Woman was cool. It's definitely not the hype that everybody's talking about as far as Rotten Tomatoes, the 96%. I thought it was average at best, really. It was kind of awkward all the way through. It just wasn't as tight-knit as I'm comparing it to Captain America: First Avenger. It definitely wasn't as dope as that. That was a dope movie. This was cool. It was an honest effort, but definitely don't got nothing on Man of Steel, don't got nothing on Batman versus Superman to me. I actually love the film. But it's a cool effort. It's a definitely cool effort. Enjoyable, you know what I mean? I got the people going in for the next showing. It's cool, y'all. It's cool. That's all I can say. There's no wonder. It's just, yeah. Wonder Woman, finally got to see her though. Can't wait to Justice League. What up, y'all? Yeah, so yeah, I just got out of Wonder Woman like a couple hours ago. I was gonna wait till maybe Sunday night, but I was like, let me go squeeze this in there. Didn't necessarily want to go see it in 3D, but that's the format that it was playing at the time. So anyways, Wonder Woman was cool. I wish I could say it was wonderful, but it was just cool. Honestly, what I got out of it was already shown in the trailers, you know what I mean? That was the bulk of my enjoyment, was the scenes that you see in the trailer. What I did like about it, I liked Connie Nielsen in the beginning. I liked seeing her in that garb and that crown and everything like that, her kicking some ass. I liked the slow motion action on the beach with that frame, just, you know, doing it. And Robin Wright Penn, or I should say Robin Wright, man, I wish we would have gotten to know that character even more so. I wish, man, I liked her. I'll get back to that. I wish that I liked her. I just wish we got to know more of her and see more of her. You know, Paradise Island, definitely did like Paradise. That was nice. And I like the multi-ethnic representation of the Amazons. They definitely didn't have to do that, but they definitely kind of broadened the range. And I wish they would have spoke on that a little further. I know this is the positives, but being that it was multi-ethnic Amazons, it kind of gave you the impression that the Amazons were an amalgamation, not amalgamation, but it was a microcosm of all the women of the different nationalities and ethnicities of planet Earth that pretty much were given refuge on this planet, on this island by the god Zeus because of man's ill nature and ill deeds. I wish they would have just kind of hammered that home explicitly, boom, 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 and just said that. And that would have made that first act even tighter. The whole fish out of water aspect I did like. That was the most appealing aspect of the first and second act. And her being in, adapting into normal society's garb and everything like that. And then her having to kind of, Diana giving some pushback against all the males who's like, who is this woman? All the stuffy white men, of the time. I liked seeing her giving that pushback. So that was probably some really good, probably some of my most enjoyable stuff. Once she was in I liked how she just wanted to throw the big coat off and just be who she was in her own garb that she came to wear and everything like that. How they had to cover that up, girl. That stuff was funny. That stuff was really funny. The battlefield stuff, like I said, you got the gist of that in the trailers. There was nothing much more that you got in the movie, except that she, pretty much allowed, she provided cover or such, or all the artillery was drawn upon her, which allowed the other forces to kind of advance finally. I like the look of Dr. Poison and all that stuff. I liked her look and everything was great. I just wish she wasn't saddled as a henchman to another superior officer who wasn't even really the main threat. Chris Pine as Steve Trevor was cool. He definitely wasn't no Peggy Carter though. Peggy Carter was, I don't know. It was cool. It seemed like they had it almost felt like they just had to have that male character to ride in tandem. And it was almost, Steve Trevor's an important character and everything like that, but as far as the impact of his character in this film, I just didn't gravitate towards him that much. It was just like, okay, yeah, that's the character. Oh man. His little crew that he brought along with him, they kind of were ineffective and not really necessary. I just wish it was more of Diana and Steve Trevor. I did like this one moment where Steve Trevor and Diana bonded, and they left that to the imagination, how he was trying to be respectful and just like, okay, here you are. And then he was like, no, I recognize that look and I'm a man, and you may be a Wonder Woman, but I'm not afraid to take the plunge. Gal Gadot was cool. She was dope. I think I like her better in the Justice League setting than alone in her own film. But maybe it was just the time period that she was saddled with that kind of was odd. The fish out of, it was just that was just kind of odd and not all that satisfying. Now to my negatives. This movie, Wonder Woman, the live action film, it got nothing on the Wonder Woman animated film. The Wonder Woman animated film is such a funny and such a dope script from start to finish. It's just dope. It's just, the Wonder Woman animated movie is so dope. And the whole thing with Ares, there was an Amazonian warrior that actually had love for Ares, who was trapped in Paradise Island, and she freed him because of the love she had for him. And there was such a poignant line that character spoke of in the animated film to give her motivation and her reasoning for betraying the Amazons. It's like Wonder Woman was on her case. How could you betray your sisters? It's like, look, she said it, and she tried to redeem herself, but she let Diana know. It's like, look, we are strong warriors and everything like that, but we are also women. and for the Amazons to be on that island for as long as they have, for centuries, decades, centuries, whatever, but to not be able to have that unrequited feeling of love with another, with a man, with your equal opposite, was the reason why Ares was able to rise to power in the animated film. And his motivation here was just like, yeah, I've been cast down, somewhat powerless, well, not as powerful. I can only influence, and it just was kind of a letdown. Further thoughts. Yeah, and yeah, the villain. It had this. I'm the villain, but not really the villain. That was unnecessary. This movie was 45 minutes too long. It was way too long. It didn't need to be this long, man. Another thing that I did like, I liked how it started off with Diana reflecting in present time and receiving the original negative of the picture that was taken of her and her comrades in arms. The original negative was retrieved by Mr. Bruce Wayne in present day. And I liked the continuing communication via email and messaging and such like that. It was kind of this indirect relationship that they have you're gonna see in full-fledged and come Justice League time. That's gonna be fun. Those little pieces are gonna be fun to put together. So I did like that. That was kind of like somewhat like, but in Batman versus Superman, but being like, hey, we doubling down, we still doing it. I like it. That's how people would communicate nowadays anyway. It's like, it's a little jarring because people shouldn't communicate indirectly like that, but it's true to our times where people do communicate like such, even superheroes. So yeah, the movie was just 45 minutes too long. Which affects the pacing and everything. And I didn't think the script was really all that strong. And I dare say the chemistry between the two leads weren't really all that strong. Gal Gadot and Chris Pine don't really have strong chemistry, but then again, maybe they weren't supposed to. It did kind of build to something, but I didn't overall buy it throughout. I understand what they were trying to do, and they kind of somewhat achieved what they're trying to do, but for my taste, it wasn't 100%. It was like maybe 90%, and that 10% was kind of, you felt that lacking. There was this moment, though, like I said, that Steve Trevor and Diana got very close after a night of bonding, and the fact that you didn't see more of that, just the heads coming closer together, that was very nice. I wish they would have intercut that with Steve Trevor's moment, his sacrificing moment at the end, whereas Diana kind of had those flashing moments in her head as she battled Ares. But had Steve, I didn't buy the line that he said to her that made her truly burst out in power. I thought he was more infatuated than anything by just this different woman. But as far as that big old L word, I don't think he really achieved that just yet, to the point where I didn't buy that line. I didn't really buy that moment either, of her being disoriented and such, and then realizing it a moment later. Sorry for a little bit of spoilers, but I'm not trying to be too detailed with it. Overall, this movie was not better than Man of Steel. Man of Steel is a perfect, beautiful movie. Batman vs. Superman has flaws, but it's a very dope movie. This movie right here is pretty cool, but it's way better than Suicide Squad. Let me say that right now. Wonder Woman is 5 billion times better than Suicide Squad. This is a competent, paced film, where Suicide Squad is ridiculous. As I'm thinking more, to grade it on a rewatchability factor, as far as all the DCEU films, yeah, Wonder Woman is definitely rewatchable, and it's definitely, yeah, I'll just grade it like this. I would say Man of Steel, this or BVS? Yeah, Man of Steel, BVS, Batman vs Superman, Wonder Woman, and then Suicide Squad. That would be the order of ranking as far as the rewatchability factor. But especially the whole who's really Ares thing. When you watch this a second time, it's like, you know, and the whole thing about the weapon, the God Killer weapon. As soon as that was said, I was like, yeah, it's not no actual instrument. It's what Zeus forged with the help of her mother. So yeah, there you go. So yeah, y'all. That's my feelings about Wonder Woman. It's cool, and it's definitely not worth the hype. Let me end it with that. This whole hype, how it's just DC has finally made a great film. No, they didn't. DC made a serviceable film with Wonder Woman. They finally serviced Wonder Woman with a movie, and that's what this is, a movie with Wonder Woman. There you go. So you can't say, well, how come after all these superheroes, Wonder Woman's... Yeah, it's finally out. It's out there. As far as the sequel, I would like to see it in the 70s. I would like to see it not so grounded in the dreary World War I time period and punch up the fun. Punch up the fun with the sequel where it's removed from the present day, where it still could be Diana living out her years as she's somewhat of an immortal in the 70s. And then it could mirror the time period of the TV show. And you could make it a little bit more serious than the TV show, but give it a little more camp where it's fun, because DC, the DC universe, DC movie extended universe needs a little bit more fun. And I think if you put Wonder Woman in the 70s, that would be so dope. And if you had Cheetah in the 70s and such like that, I personally want to see Evan Rachel Wood play the character. But a popular movie critic suggested Priyanka Chopra also, and that would be great as well. That's my thoughts about Wonder Woman. It was cool, but no cigar. There we go. Your boy Neek, me in the movies, saw Wonder Woman. Fortunately, they didn't have the marquee. I did get a chance to speak to y'all by the poster. But yeah, Wonder Woman. It's finally out. Wonder No More when it's coming out. It's out. Y'all get to see it. I saw it. It was like that at like 3:00, which means it's aight. So yeah, y'all. Wonder Woman. Gal Gadot did a good job, I guess. And there it is. 2 fingers. Something I'm tacking on in regards to Wonder Woman that arose in the past month or so. The theater chain Alamo Drafthouse decided to celebrate the release of Wonder Woman by doing a one night only, one screening of Wonder Woman for women only. It means women patrons, women staff, everyone from top to bottom in that theater for that one night only, for that one screening, will be women only. So effectively, Alamo Drafthouse is supporting discrimination by gender. And I think that is just absolutely a ridiculous precedent to set. And to come to find out, the mayor of, it may have been, I forget what city it is. I believe it's in Dallas, Texas. I may have the city incorrect. But I don't think it's Alamo. I don't know. The mayor of the city, whatever city the theater is in support of it and everything like that. But I just asked the question, how did you feel about businesses discriminating patrons based on gender prior to this screening of Wonder Woman? I mean, it's just completely backwards and against the idea of Wonder Woman and feminism. It's like the guys that would be going to see Wonder Woman are not the a-holes. They're not the ones that's holding women back. Alamo Draft House is a dine-in theater experience. That means it pretty much encourages the dine-in experience of couples. I mean, who goes to restaurants and dine as a couple for the most part? Men with women, women with men. Who pays for that situation? Men. So you would have had male patrons paying for women's entertainment that night anyway. So what's the point of excluding them from seeing this one screening? It's just they have every opportunity to see it at any other theater in the city, whatever. I get it, but it's just ridiculous. It's just simply ridiculous precedent, and I just don't understand the possible litigation that Alamo Drafthouse is putting themselves in. But hey, seems like everything is just going through fine. The silly feminists are drinking man tears and all that stuff, but it's just a terrible precedent, a downward spiral of the relationship between men and women. And I don't think Wonder Woman should feel the brunt of that. I mean, she should have a release for her very first film without any kind of silly modern day drama that a certain demographic likes to stir up all the time. Anyways, those are my brief thoughts about that situation. Y'all should still go see Wonder Woman. I thought it was cool. If I thought it was I just give it a middle of the road, but it's cool. I put it at 3 o'clock or 10 o'clock or something like that. It is what it is. I'd hope to see a more funner, lighthearted sequel set in the '70s. You know what I mean? That would be so fucking funny and dope to me. But anyways, Wonder Woman, y'all. I hope y'all go check it out as I get back to work.